Hey everyone, my name is Gamer Corey and welcome back to another Minecraft tutorial video. Now in this video we're going to be making a flower slash dye farm today, and as you can see behind me, this is what it is. I'm going to show you guys how it actually works here in just a moment, and then we're going to get into the build. And you can actually see over there, that was my original prototype of this farm, and then I actually came up with this design with improvements from that other one over there. So it is relatively fast, and it's actually not that expensive to build, first of all. So let's go ahead and actually just go ahead and turn this on so you guys can actually go ahead and kind of see it work just a little bit, as it is relatively fast. And then obviously all the items get sent down into the water stream and into the collection system, and then basically it starts all over again. So it's completely AFKable, and you can just kind of walk away from it for 5-10 minutes or however many flowers you guys will actually need. Now, this thing does produce a lot of different possible dyes from this farm. You're obviously going to get the main ones, which you're going to get poppy, you're going to get like the dandelions, you're going to get the light gray dye, you're gonna get blue, but then you can use all the other dye from this. So you can use the bone meal to get white, and you can combine some of these other ones to get all the other different dyes by combining them together. So now the only thing that you're missing is actually 4 different dyes from this farm, and I definitely recommend that you guys build this in a plains biome, and that's exactly where we're going to be building the tutorial. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we are over here on a brand new world, and we're going to be building this, and we have the chest right behind me here, or next to me, and that's going to contain all of our items that you guys are going to need in order to build that. And we're actually going to build that on this small island directly behind me. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at what's in the chest, and you guys might want to go ahead and pause this portion of the video so that way you guys can go ahead and identify everything that you're going to need. Now, this is just for the farm itself. This isn't the starting mechanism. This also isn't the filter item system, and it's not any extra blocks to make the farm look good. So these are the majority of what you guys are going to need. Now, you will probably need a couple more items than this, especially when it comes to either glass or whatever building block you're going to be using. But just to give you guys an idea that you're probably going to be either want more glass or you're going to want more of a building block in itself. All right, we've collected all of our items, and let's go ahead and head on over to this area. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of flatten this down just a little bit, so just give me a little bit of time to do that. But I do want to let you guys know this is roughly going to be a 15 by 15 area that you're going to want to go ahead and dig down 3 spots. Now, eventually you could fill some of that in, but it is like a 15 by 15 area. So let's go ahead and get started with that right now. So now that we have actually dug out our 15 by 15 and 3 deep hole, we can actually start building what we're going to be building here. So wherever you want to have the front of your farm, that's where you want to kind of start with. And then part of this trench here is going to be where your items are going to be flowing down into. So that's going to be the end here. So we'll count this as the end of that. So we're going to come out 1, and we're actually going to go up 1 like this. And now this area is going to be 12 wide. So we're going to go, let's see, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I guess we'd actually do it like right about there, because we only want it to be 11. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we got right there is where we want that to be. And we're going to go back basically 7. So we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest of this in real quick. Now, what we have done here is we've actually created where our flowers are going to be growing on, and then this platform will be shifting so that it breaks them as soon as they are planted. Now, what we have to do is put in our pistons, and we need to have a space on one side. It doesn't matter which side it is, but I've already kind of put my temporary blocks in here. So we have a gap here. And then we have no gap on this side. So pistons can only push 12 blocks, so this gap would actually make it 12 blocks. So that's why our platform is only 11 wide. Now, at this point, we want to use whatever building block we're going to be building with the whole project with on this, and we're going to skip every other piston. So this would be every other like this, and then we're going to do that on both sides. And then what we're going to do on each of those blocks, we're actually going to go ahead and face an observer facing, this one actually has to be upwards. So we need to actually kind of make some temporary blocks here like this, and then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting pistons like so on here. And we can actually go ahead and get rid of all those. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put blocks on each of those. Now, you could probably space them out a little bit further than the way that I have it. I just like to make it look even on both sides. That's just me personally, but you don't necessarily have to do that if you don't want to. So we're going to do the same thing on this side, and then we can get rid of those blocks there, and then we have to put the blocks next to those like that. So you kind of have this weird looking checkerboard pattern. Now on the front side, this is where we're going to be using the only 14 pieces of glass that you truly need to have, and when it's going to be covering this so that water doesn't fall down into the mechanism, and then on this side it's going to be just sitting right on top of the glass. Now the reason that we're actually using glass on here is because it will not destroy the grass down below. If you actually place a regular block like this one, that could eventually turn to dirt, and we don't necessarily want that to happen. Now what we need to do is come to the back side of the farm, and we're going to be putting a temporary block or a block that looks nice. It's completely up to you, and you want it to be in between both of those glass. Now I'm going to be using iron trapdoor, but you can use whatever trapdoors that you guys would like, and they need to be opened the right way. So you need to come from the back facing frontwards, so that way when they do get powered, we're just going to go ahead and give you guys just a little bit of an example here. When they get powered, they'll actually go upwards like that. But if you put them facing this way, then they'll actually open up the wrong way, and then that way they couldn't hold water. We'll get to that point here in just a little bit, but that's what we need to have for the temporary blocks. And then what we want to do is we might as well go ahead and put our rails down on top of our blocks that we got done putting down before, and that's going to go across all of them like that. All right, so what we need to do for our next stage is put down another block on here, and then we're going to put another set of rails on top of that. And then what we need to do is put some blocks down here straight below this one, and then just one below here, and we're going to do the same thing on this side right there. And we're going to do another block there, and then we're going to do 2 rails, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side, so 2 rails here, and then we're going to have observers facing downwards into those blocks like that and like that. So if we were to actually get rid of this rail, you'll see that it actually pushes it across. It pushes the whole system, and the same thing would happen if we put it on this side. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our next point, our next step. So we have to actually put a block right above where the water is going to be placed. And then, at least that's what I like to do. And then I'm going to put a block on the back side of where the water will be going as well. So what we need to do is we need to grab our redstone dust. This is pretty much the only time that you're actually going to be using redstone dust here in the build. And then you'd want to build on whatever block you would consider the middle, and then put a redstone dust there. Now what we can do is actually we can go ahead and temporarily power this if we would like, so that way all the trapdoors will actually come up, and then we can actually go ahead and fill in with our infinite water source in each of those, behind each of those trapdoors there. Also making sure that we have put a block there so that it protects the power rails, which we're going to have to put 2 more down, or 1 more down here. So let's go ahead and on the front side here and finish filling up the rest of our trapdoors with water. Now what I like to do is actually go up too high. It's not necessarily needed, but it's going to help with the efficiency and loss on the build, because there are times where it could explode up and like a flower could stand and sit on top of this glass, which means that you lose a little bit of efficiency, but you don't necessarily have to, because you will be getting a ton of flowers from this farm. All right, so now that we actually have the water sources in, that's good. And now when we actually turn this off, you'll see that the water actually gets pushed all the way down to the end, and then it would actually go down into its container of wherever we want to send it from at that point. So let's go ahead and actually turn that back on for the time being, and let's move on to our next step. So now what we need to do is we need to come down from the center wherever this block is at. So if you put it on this one, you're going to come down off of that one, and we're going to kind of go out on an angle. Now we're going to go ahead and not put anything on that for the time being, and I'm going to show you guys why here in just a moment. But we're going to put a temporary block there, and we're actually going to grab our sticky pistons here, and we're going to put one on this side, and we're also going to put one on this side and one down the back. and we can actually go ahead and delete that middle block just like that. So from here, what we want to do is we want to put our observers facing outward. So we're actually going to go this way. And then we're going to come back on this side. We're going to put one facing that way. So that's going to basically create a clock on this side. And then what we need to do is we need to do the same thing on this side and on this side. And then we need to put a block right here. So these two are going to get pushed over at the exact same time. And that's going to start the flip-flopping of the floor that's above us right now. And we also have that one. So now we can work on this one here. And we're going to go ahead and put an observer facing this way, and then we're also going to put an observer facing that way. So what we need to do from here is we're going to actually have a signal coming off of that one and a signal coming off of this one, and this is going to go into our dispensers that we need. So we can actually just go ahead and break this for the time being, because we actually need to go up above everything. And then what we're going to do is put in our observer facing up. And then we need to put our dirt block back down, or our grass block back down. And then this is up to you how many droppers that you want to use. In the world that I showed you guys before, I actually had 3 of them. So what we can do is just go like 2 for the time being, just like that. And then what you can do is you can come off of, what we're going to do is go down just a couple like that. And fill that back up here. And then we're going to go this way, and then this way, and this way. And then that way they are facing the right way that they're supposed to. And then that way it will detect the observer and going through. So we'll come into here. This observer will detect that this one changed. These two will detect, and it will actually send up the items into that dispenser. Now, at this point, what you want to do is you can put in your hopper line. And this is where you're going to be going wherever you guys want to go from here. And I recommend that you come out at least 1 from each side, and then you're gonna have to kind of come over and then kind of go off to wherever you want this to be at. And I recommend that you come out a little bit further, kind of like this, and then like this, and then you're gonna want to go on the top of that. And I think right there would actually probably be okay, unless you want to go ahead and put 1 more and then put the chests around it, which we actually didn't even use before because we weren't going to necessarily put in the input, but that's where our input would go. And then you can go ahead and surround this, and I would recommend putting this in the floor just like that. And then that way you can actually see everything that is going on. So what we need to do here is we need to basically come up 1 block like this, put in our 1 repeater that we need for this one, and that's going to go here. And then we need to basically put in a torch right here. So wherever one of our torches is at, this is going to be one of them. And that's going to turn everything on. And we can actually go ahead and actually let's turn that out like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 in, and then you're going to replace it because it's going to start the system. And it's not finalized yet, so it's not ready to go. And there we go. Just like that. Now, at this point, we're going to go ahead and put a block on top of that redstone torch, and then another redstone torch here, and then a block on top of that. So that should actually open that at the exact same time. So if we actually go ahead and power this on right here, you can see that the whole floor is shaking back and forth just like it should be doing, which is absolutely perfect. All right, now from here, what we're going to do is we can actually just get rid of that, that lever for the time being, and we're going to put our second repeater right into that block. You could actually put it on the back if you want to, but it's pretty much really up to you guys. And then what we're going to do is we're going to build in a hopper clock here. So this is what we needed our original 2 hoppers for, and some of our sticky pistons and our comparators for. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put in our redstone block, which is going to go right here. And then we're actually going to have our hoppers right below it. And then at this point, what you want to do is go ahead and put a temporary block on this side. And then we're going to come up and we're going to put one on this side of the hoppers as well. And then what we need to do is put a temporary block right like this. And then what we need to do is put in our comparator there and there, and with a redstone dust on each of those. And then what we would do is we could actually throw in our 16 pieces. So what we do is just grab 16 of them and we can throw that in there. And then we can actually grab our lever so that it can actually turn off. And there we go. So that will actually prevent it from going. And then this would actually be the input for the whole entire system. All right, so we can actually turn that off for the time being. And then that will actually prevent it from doing anything. If you want it, this would be the input, so you could actually break this and then put like your secondary redstone block here. And then what you'd do is you'd put your sticky piston like here, and then a block here. And then you could actually run in, like say a repeater into this one. And then what you could do is grab your redstone, which I don't know where it went, and then we can actually just run a line. And then our lever could be wherever we want it to be. Then we actually go right underneath that, which is perfect. And that's all you really need to do. So if you want the farm to start, you just actually come over here and actually just go ahead and load up the different dispensers. And then you can actually throw in a whole bunch of other ones for bone meal in here, and it's actually all going to get sucked into the hoppers and get sucked all the way down into those bottom droppers that are there. And this will actually empty out pretty quickly. And the hopper line that we actually created is actually pretty decent, so that's good. And then what you want to do is build your system that's going to be holding the water here. And that's going to come right across the bottom here, as we will grab a slab. And then we'd also grab a sign as well. So we can do that. And you can then what you do is you replace this with the packed ice. At least that's what I like to do with it. You don't necessarily have to do this. And then you put one on the bottom, and then you put a sign on this side, and then put a piece of water like that. And then this one you would have running wherever you want it to go. And then let's go ahead and actually grab this and that so that we don't have water flowing everywhere. Even though it's not a big deal, because we don't have like any major redstone on the bottom there. And then we can run this off into a chest or whatever storage system that we would want. But we'll just kind of do like a temporary one so you can see kind of what it's like here. So now let's go ahead and turn on our system and kind of see what it looks like and how it works. And everything should be working just fine. And it will start to shift a little bit there, and it works perfectly a-okay. Now, the reason that it actually takes a little bit of time for it to start up is because there's 16 blocks that need to get transferred over, or up to 16 blocks. So it can take just a little bit to really get started. Then obviously the water has to go away before it can actually do anything else. And then it's all getting pushed out. And let's go see how many flowers we get after just a couple different runs that we've actually just done here. And look at this. So we're getting dandelions, we're getting our oxeye daisies, poppies, we're getting the azure bluette, and then we're getting the cornflower. And then you can use these to convert all to bone meal if you'd like right off the bat, which is what I was doing in my experimental world. But there it is. That is the entire flower farm all done and complete. And it's actually relatively simple to build and not that expensive to build as well. Basically, just a little bit of some pistons, a few observers, and some powered rails, and you guys are good to go. But if you guys did enjoy the episode or found it helpful in any way, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. It would help me out a lot and is greatly appreciated. But if you guys found it helpful, I'm sure that somebody else will find it helpful as well, and a like would definitely help spread the word. But if you guys did enjoy it, you know what to do. But until next time, YouTube, you guys keep doing what you're doing because you're already doing it, and you guys stay gaming.